So Samsung is back with the FE or Fan Edition lineup. And here we have two brand new tablets that again is offering a lot of the flagship stuff we'd expect, like a Galaxy S Pen on there, Samsung Dex on there, and of course the water resistance rating, which you don't see on most other tablets, being IP68. And they're doing all of this at a much, much lower cost, starting at $450. This is a lot cheaper than most other tablets out there. So I had the opportunity to go hands-on with these tablets for about an hour and a half, kind of play around with them, film them a little bit. And in this video, I want to talk about my first impressions after using these devices, and also point out some of the compromises I noticed that Samsung made to bring that price down, as well as if it's actually a big deal or not to make those compromises. So starting off, we have four different colors. There's mint, there's lavender, there's silver, and there's gray. They're all like pretty muted, not super vibrant colors, and pretty nice for a tablet. Honestly, I put a case on anyway, usually a keyboard case, so that doesn't, I won't even see the color anyway. But there are three different tablets then, and two different sizes. So the two sizes, we have the smaller one, which is the Galaxy Tab S23FE. I have like fairly large-ish hands, so the tablet looks a little smaller. Like you can hold it upright, but it's generally like, it's gonna be a smaller tablet, right? I'm used to using the Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra, which is like absolutely gigantic. It's like 15.5 inches. So this is gonna be a much smaller tablet. This is gonna be great for anybody who wants to have it maybe like in their car when they're driving, or you just want a little media device for in bed, or maybe like a really tiny compact laptop replacement for like on a plane or when you're traveling. It's gonna be a nice small laptop. And then we have the Galaxy Tab S23FE Plus. They put the plus after the FE, not after the 9. I gotta remember that in this video. But this one is 12.4 inches, so a little bit larger, definitely more of an average tablet size. I think a lot of people are used to this size, and it's gonna be a little bit more expensive. The reason I say there are three different versions is because we have the FE, we have the FE Plus, and we have the FE Plus with 5G. Now 5G obviously is going to give you like cellular connectivity, which I think is going to actually be pretty popular here. I could see a lot of people in industry, maybe if you're like a contractor or something and you need to bring a tablet out in the field with you. So first of all, the IP68 water rating is gonna be great. You still have that S Pen, so you can write on here in the field. 5G is gonna be great, so you don't need to connect to a hotspot all the time, or this could actually be your hotspot. And of course, fourthly, it's gonna be nice because it is more affordable. So I could see a lot of, like I said, contractors or people who have to go out and work in the field really buying that device a lot. But getting into the display, these actually both have a high refresh rate as well, up to 90 Hertz, and it is adaptive, so it should be helping out the battery life. The battery life is actually pretty impressive. I'll talk about that in just a second. But the displays, the first compromise you'll see, which is pretty obvious, I think it's gonna be really expected for a mid-range device like this, is the displays are not Super AMOLED as we see on the flagships. Instead, they're LCD displays, which means that it's not quite as vibrant, not quite as dark of the blacks on there. I need to test the LCDs out a little bit more before I can say much about them. But from whatever testing I did have during that hour and a half, they looked pretty decent, definitely passable. I didn't get to try them in bright daylight. I didn't get to try them in a really dim environment. This was kind of just like a harsh indoor lighting environment. So I will be getting these and actually like testing them out in my own studio for like multiple days, and I'll make like a long-term review on that. If you guys want to see that video, definitely be sure to go down and click that subscribe button. Of course, I'll have camera tests, I'll have audio tests, microphone, all the usual stuff in that video. This is really just the first impressions video. So like I said, subscribe if you want to see that one. Speaking of the camera test, that's going to be one big difference between the FE and the FE Plus. So both models have an 8 megapixel rear lens, but the Plus has an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens as well on the rear. And then both of them have a 12 megapixel front facing ultra wide lens. So that's going to be, it makes sense. Like on a tablet, you're probably going to be doing more front facing like video calls and stuff like that, as opposed to taking photos with the rear. So I was happy to see 12 megapixels and an ultra wide lens, so you can kind of move around and reframe depending on where you are in the shot. So going around the outside of this device, we do have quad speakers with Dolby Atmos, and like I said, I'll test that out later. But I mean, for my little testing, I don't have an audio sample for you, but it sounded like reasonably loud. It definitely did a pretty good job. Samsung always does a pretty decent job on their speakers. And we have a USB Type-C port, of course, to charge this. This is a USB Type-C 2.0 port, and this actually supports super fast charging as well, which is great because the battery on here is already very large. Like, it does a really good job. We have 8,000 milliamp hours on the regular model, 10,090 milliamp hours on the larger model, which is going to give you on the larger model up to 20 hours of video playback, which is a huge number. That's Samsung's claim. Obviously, I didn't get to test 20 hours worth of video in the hour and a half I had with this device. But regardless, I think the battery should be pretty impressive because we do have a smaller processor on here, a smaller meaning less capable, less powerful processor. It's the same one we're seeing on the Galaxy A54, which is the Exynos 1380. And again, that's going to be a little bit slower than the flagships. And of course, we have volume and a power button. The power button doubles as a fingerprint sensor on the outside as well. And then lastly, on the outside, we have an SD card slot, which allows for expandable storage up to 1 terabyte on a little SD card, which is fantastic because these both come, all models come with either 128 gigabytes or 256 gigabytes, which is not especially huge, but it's definitely passable, especially considering you can put in that SD card. And the RAM is going to be different on the two models, 6 or 8 gigabytes on the smaller one, and 8 or 12 gigabytes on the larger FE Plus. These also have Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi Direct Bluetooth 5.3. And I mean, overall, like I said, I think this is going to be a pretty solid device that's a lot more accessible for people who don't want to spend $1,000 on a big flagship device. And maybe you don't need the same display quality. Maybe you don't need such a fast processor. And maybe you just want something that's durable, that has that water resistance rating, that comes with the S Pen, and like for most basic tasks is going to be more than good enough. So yeah, I'm glad Samsung launched these tablets, but they also launched 2 other FE products as well, the Galaxy S23FE, the phone, and the Galaxy Buds FE, which out of the 3, is the one that I am by far the most excited about. I have a video that's going live the same time as this video, so I'll link that right here. You can check that one out next. And like I said, I'm super excited. They brought back one of my favorite features on a pair of Galaxy Buds. Check it out. I'll see you over there.